What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of your favorite podcast, Actors Endurance, with the best host in the game, Shanette Wilson, and the great, y'all put some great on his name, the great Marlon Hargrave. Now, today you are in for a special treat coming from the Southeast down in Atlanta, the new Hollywood, the new Black Hollywood. We have a good friend of mine, Greg Mitchell. Now, y'all are going to love this interview. Greg, he's fairly new to the game, but this man has taken off like a freight train. You hear me? So, Greg is a wonderful actor. He got his start on Greenleaf, connected with some wonderful people. And then from there, he has taken off to over 15 projects. I'm sure you've seen him on one of his Lifetime movies because he's been in quite a few. He's a marketing genius. He is an amazing girl dad, and an amazing actor. So, welcome to the show, Greg Mitchell.
All right.
Hey,
What's going on, Greg?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Doing good, doing good. Happy to have
Good.
you here.
Now I got to reopen that envelope and add another zero to that check I wrote for you for that great introduction. Now I got to put another stamp on a new envelope.
I'm telling you, you got to
Thank
give
you for that.
Yeah. I mean, it's well deserving, man. Well deserving. We have been dying to have you on the show. I've talked to my partner about you several times, and sir, you had just been blowing up. You have been blowing up. You know, I'm one of your biggest fans.
Thank you for that.
Fans. Now,
As I am one of yours.
oh yeah,
Let the record show.
I love it and appreciate it. Now, before we get into all the wonderful things that you have been doing and really get to know you personally, at Actors Endurance, it's all about enduring throughout your career. Everyone has their ebbs and flows, and you know this is one of the hardest careers to start out in, or just to be in. So, what we would like to know is, what are some of the biggest obstacles you've faced since you began your acting journey?
Wow. Mine was because, obviously, I literally started from scratch, ground zero, no experience, just the desire and a heart to take on the project or to pursue the idea of becoming an actor. And I call it Act 3 in my professional career, right? So I've worked on the corporate side, I've worked in the nonprofit side, I've also worked in entrepreneurship, and sold my business in 2016 and decided to jump into this game, right? And it wasn't even the plan to do that when I sold my company. And literally had the thought of pursuing my childhood dream and made the decision to do so. So the biggest obstacle for me was just jumping into a space that I was very unfamiliar with. However, fortunately for me, my background, my corporate experience, all the lessons that I've learned in that space allowed me to jump into this space and do the things that I know to do, which primary is networking. And so not knowing anyone, not knowing anything about the business or anything of that nature, my biggest obstacle has been just doing that, getting to know the people, understanding the space, understanding how it works, knowing who I need to meet, knowing who I need to choose as my mentors, and allowing them to help me overcome some of the obstacles. But like I said, the biggest obstacle for me was just, first and foremost, learning and understanding the business of Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
So you went in with the mentality of learning the business first before acting?
Simultaneously. So while working and developing my craft at the same time, I'm a man of a certain age, so I don't like to waste a lot of time. And so I understand that understanding the business of Hollywood is equally as important as being talented. in front of the camera or behind the camera, I feel strongly that you need at least a working knowledge of both sides in order for you to position yourself to excel. Whether in front of the camera or behind the camera, you have to understand the business in order to navigate as expeditiously as possible.
Hmm. Wow, you have got to be probably one of the only people, and that's one of the reasons why I really do like you, is you're one of the only people that have ever taken that approach that I've heard of. You
Yeah,
know, a lot of
yeah,
people go right into the acting, and then the business comes later.
yeah. And that's just because of my experience. Again, I've always been on the corporate side. I've always been on the business side. And so that's what I know. That's what I understand. That's what I do naturally. And so when I came into this and came into it blindly, uh, once I got my very first opportunity, it became very evident to me that if I'm going to do this, I've got to understand all the working pieces. And so my very first project, as you mentioned, was Greenleaf. And the very first thing I wanted to do was just I wanted to understand not only the business, but I wanted to understand every role. I wanted to understand every person's responsibility on a set. And so these are all things that I just became a student of the business and did everything in my power to exercise all of the knowledge that I was learning and how to incorporate that into what I was trying to achieve. So, but yeah, so that the benefit of that is just coming from a different background and bringing that into this space.
Oh yeah.
So about that background, so I worked on Wall Street, and it's a splitting of the mind because 9 to 5 world does not coexist with our world.
No,
How did you simultaneously? I mean, it had to be jarring to like get to know the hours. You're not waking up at 9 and going home at 5. You may
right.
spend 15 hours on a day. You sit up there, you hurry up, and you wait all day. Like, how is it going from? Because I started acting as a teenager, so I've been used to that kind of regimen. But you
Right.
got into the game late. That must have been crazy for you trying to split those hours.
Again, fortunately for me, my last step before this one was that of an entrepreneur.
Uh,
Entrepreneurs don't operate from 9 to 5. Plus,
right.
I'm a night owl.
Oh my.
So putting in a 15, 16, 17-hour day, I was already accustomed to. Now, the hurry up and wait was a new thing for me in terms of being, on set, waiting for your scene to come up or whatever. That was new to me, but the hours and needing to be flexible and patient, those are things that I already possess. So that part wasn't really a hard transition. But for somebody not coming from that, yeah, that's a huge thing, especially if you are an impatient person. You can burn out on this real quickly if you're an impatient person and you don't know how to occupy your time. And so, coming from where I've come from, that downtime was always beneficial for me because I'm always working on other things. And so, you've got to learn how to navigate that by understanding that, okay, well, I've got 2 hours to spend before my next scene. So let me pull my briefcase out. Let me pull my backpack out because I've got work in there that I can focus on, or I'm studying and preparing for my next scene. So utilizing that time wisely is just the thing that most people need to know and understand. Otherwise, if you're sitting there twiddling your thumbs for 2 hours waiting on somebody to call you, you will drive yourself crazy
Yes. And waste a lot of time.
and waste a lot of time. And I don't like wasting a lot of time.
Yeah, say that again. Say that again. So all you background actors, when you get on set, don't just sit there wasting your time talking to other people. Like, be productive, please.
Absolutely, absolutely. And on that subject, because when I first started, obviously my mindset was I just want to get my foot in the door. So I started Greenleaf doing background. And they brought me in as recurring background. And so to sit and watch everybody doing everything but trying to understand what's going on around them. Everybody's watching TV on their phones, everybody's doing all these different things. And I'm trying to figure out, okay, who is this guy? So he's the PA over talent. Okay, all right, so that's his responsibility. Now, this guy over here, what is he doing? Oh, okay, all right. So he's a different PA. Okay, so he's doing lockups. He's making sure that nobody goes in, nobody goes out. Again, I'm brand new. And so I was a sponge. And I think that that's something that all background need to understand. You need to be a sponge on set. Luckily for me, Keith David, who was the bishop on the show, his stand-in called in sick on my 4th day doing background. And coincidentally, the first AD had already been teasing me about the fact that he and I resemble one another. So when his stand-in called in sick, they tapped me to stand in for him for the day. First thing I realized was that, one, this gives me full access to the set. I'm not limited to, waiting in the BG area. I've got free reign of the set back here. And then I had access to Video Village, which is where I lived, because I get to overhear the conversations. I get to hear what the director is saying. I get to hear what the DP is saying. I lived there. Whereas even some of the other stand-ins that worked on the show, they were off doing the same things that BG is doing. They're in their chair, on their phones, watching movies. And no, so my point is, even if you're doing BG or whatever it is that you're doing, be a sponge. Listen, learn, watch, pay attention. And it can certainly help in the long run when you understand everybody's role and then incorporating that into what you do and understanding who you need to prioritize in your communication and in your networking while on set.
Yes.
So how many extras got mad at you when you upgraded? People don't know that. Man, listen, them extras be rough.
That's a
You
real
upgrade.
thing. That is a real thing. Listen, on my first day, even background, my very first day on set, I mean, I had jokers hating on me. I'm like, well, I mean, I'm brand new. I don't know what I'm doing, so I'm asking questions. What do we do? Oh, they'll tell you what to do. Just sit down and wait. They'll tell you what to do. Da 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 da. And I had one guy. His name is Greg. Coincidentally, my name is Greg. His name was Greg. I'm from Detroit. He was from Detroit. So we had that commonality. And he embraced me and was like, okay, man, look, so here's the deal. He's been doing background for a while. Not only that, but he actually founded an organization or a group, not necessarily an organization, but a group. And they called themselves Colorful Backgrounders. So he actually, you know Greg then. You've probably seen him or heard about him, but his objective was to make sure that people of color working in background had, a network of people that they could talk to and work together. And if I hear about a project coming up, then I'm gonna give you the contact person for BG casting, and so they worked together in that way. But anyway, Greg embraced me. We became very good friends. Unfortunately, Greg passed away a few years ago. But yeah, that brother embraced me and kind of, showed me the ropes. But man, I had several people just like, man, just go somewhere and sit down and wait your turn.
That's what most people do.
Yeah.
That's why.
Right.
I used to hide, and we'll get off the extras for a second, but my game was to make rent. So I hid. If I got 5 days, I hid for 4. And I was like you. I knew who the AD was. I would look for the AD and I go hide, or they come, I go,
Right.
this place sleep. And I get my 4 or 5 days in, because New York rent is not cheap. And being union, I was lucky because I get on a show like New York Undercover, and they had the meal penalties and rain penalty. I mean, they got penalized so much that they used to pay all my bills. Shout out to New York Undercover. But interesting enough, I think that a lot of people are going to get value out of this interview because extras acting is looked at as just that. You can pull anybody off of the street to do it, but the fact that you were aware of what was going on allowed you to step up. And I think that people who get into the business who want to start out, you should start out as an extra. You really should to not let that set overwhelm you because if you're on $1 million set, it's going to be some big equipment out there, you know?
That's right.
That is very, very good. But I want to take you back. You said that you were from Detroit. I saw that you spent time in DC. I'm from DC. What was your experience there? And did you do any arts in DC?
I did not do any arts in DC. I practically grew up. I spent all my summers as a kid in DC. My dad's side of the family is from the DC area, so I spent a lot of time there growing up, and I did eventually move back there as an adult to accept a corporate job there. But no, I didn't do anything in the arts. But you know what's interesting is that when I was living in DC, that childhood dream rose in me again while I was in DC. And I even went and took a meeting with there's an Academy of Arts in Georgetown. I can't remember the actual name of it, but I took a meeting with them and was considering, taking classes and so on and so forth until they told me what it cost and what it cost and what the schedule was. And unfortunately for me, one, I wasn't quick to spend that much money at that point in time. It didn't mean that much to me at that point in time. But above and beyond that, my schedule wouldn't have allowed me to do that. And I wouldn't have been able to quit my job and struggle to pay that tuition to be a part of, the school. But yeah, so I thought about it while I was in DC. And then, that sticker shock just sent me right back to work, and I kept it moving.
And before Shanae asks her last question, the next question rather, I gotta ask: do you have a favorite go-go band?
Oh, absolutely. When I was a kid, it was the Junkyard Band.
Yes.
They'd be playing at the park. Man, I used to go to Fort DuPont Park during the summer when they had the go-go concerts out there. And man, my dad lived right down the street from Fort DuPont Park. So literally from his house, I could hear the music. And then of course I went out there on a regular basis. But yeah, man, Rare Essence, Junkyard Band, all those guys, man, I loved them all. Loved them. I still do to this day. I'm a go-go fan to this day. Always will be. I hate that it's trying to die a little bit, but man, they can't let it die. They cannot let it die.
Yeah, it's coming along pretty well. They tried it. They said don't mute DC. Then they made it the official music of DC. I think a couple of years ago.
Okay.
And it's changed. The music has changed, but it's still there. As long as we're there, go-go will be there. So, but yeah, I had to ask that one because we don't get too many guests from DC or who spend time there. Go-go is definitely a unique thing, but I'm gonna before I keep geeking off of this, I'm gonna have Jeanette jump right back in.
That's a whole nother show. We can talk about that all day.
Oh, yes, sir.
Anytime anybody comes on the show from DC, then Marlon goes crazy. And I understand it. We're gonna have some Rhode Island people on here, and then I can go crazy myself. Yeah. But so Greg, so you started off doing background, and then you went on to become an award-winning actor. You want to tell us about it was the movie Evil Needs a Body?
Yeah.
That award, not only did you win an award, the entire film won, what is it, a total of 6 awards?
Yeah. Yeah.
Whoa. You want to tell us a little bit about
we were 6 for 6. So it's a short film actually, one that I co-wrote. And So I was working on an independent project, and I came in contact with this guy named Aaron Pittman, who was the DP for this independent uh, project that someone was working on. Very low budget, but I saw the talent in Aaron, and so we laughed and joked while we were working on that particular project. But Aaron called me, man, some months later. I was like, man, I loved what you did in that project, and wanted to know if you'd be interested in working with me on a short film. So he had a concept for Evil Needs a Body, um, but he hadn't written a script for it, right? And I didn't find that out until the day that we were shooting. I'm like, where's the script? Because I've been at, where's the script? He was like, oh, I'm working on it. I'm working on it. And the script never came. The day we're actually scheduled to shoot, I'm like, dude, where is the script? Love this story because the actual project was supposed to consist of 7 actors in the project. I was going to be the lead, and then we had seven other people. On the day that we were scheduled to shoot it, not only did we not have a script, but we also did not have a cast because no one showed up.
Wow.
No one showed up because we were shooting it kind of far away. We were way out in Carrollton in the woods, right? And so on the day of, we just kept getting calls. I can't make it. My car's not working. It's too far. Da 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 da. So show must go on. So I'm like, okay, cool. All right. He told me about the concept, and so I'm like, all right. So here's the deal. We're gonna improv the whole thing.
Wow.
The show must go on. The concept was a guy who's an ex Navy SEAL living off the grid because of this evil spirit who was after him, right? And so I'm like, man, we got to go. It's go time. We here. And so let's just make it work. And so literally we improved this entire short film, 9-minute short film with no script and no cast. We had one role. We needed the evil spirit. And the girl who was scheduled to play the evil spirit, we were like, listen, we're going to send an Uber or whatever we have to do. Please don't cancel. We need you. So we sent an Uber to bring her from Atlanta to set. And so she and I are the only 2 people in the film. And so the only thing that was written was the opening narration, and I wrote that. But the rest of it is completely improv. So of course, and it turned out pretty good. So we were like, all right, okay, we want to do a film festival with it. Put it into a film festival. We were nominated for 7 awards. No, we were nominated for 6, and we won 6. Yeah, best lead actor, best writing, which didn't even exist, best direction.
Yeah.
So of course, when we're first of all, when we were nominated, we were excited, and then to start winning all of them, we're laughing because we know the backstory of this situation. And but yeah, that was one of the very first projects that I actually did outside of that other independent project that I did, besides Greenleaf, of course.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, it was that wild. So we're literally dying laughing on the inside. When they said best script, when they said best writing, we looked at each other like, so, shout out to Aaron Pittman and the fact that the show must not stop. That was my first experience with improving. I just knew the story. I understood the concept. And I'm like, man, let's just go. Turn the camera, action, let's just go. We'll make it work. And yeah, we won 6 awards out of it.
Wow. Now see
I saw Trevor.
that just goes to show you, like when you have a plan, like you said, no matter what, the show must go on.
That's
And you
right.
do a lot with a little bit, you just have to be willing to do it, and yeah, you had your people, brought it all together, and you won awards. Oh, that's wild.
Yeah, is that nuts? And so since then we've had some dialogue about potentially, making it into a full feature, which I think it's a great concept. And I already have some ideas for, a script for it. So I mean, I think it would actually be a great project. Obviously, if I mean it garnered the attention that it did, clearly there would be some interest there. But yeah, but it's available on YouTube. Evil Needs a Body.
You're now tuning in to Actors Endurance Podcast, home of the resilient artist. And while you're in the wings, be sure to hit your mark and like, follow, and subscribe. Also, make sure that you check out Greg Mitchell.
Let's move on a little bit. So Greg, I know that you started your acting career and have doing some amazing things. One thing I really like and respect about how you've approached the career is that you approached it with a really great plan. Like I love how you had the plan, your plan for the business. I feel like a lot of people come into acting and they just want to do everything. They want to be famous. They want to be, all over, TV. They just want to make a whole bunch of money, and they forget about, like the little things, like as far as, putting the time in to learn your craft, to network, to market, to really build your own brand up. Um, but that's one thing that I think you have really excelled at. And I know recently you just you took your career to a completely different level. You want to expound on that, or just kind of tell people a little bit? You don't have to tell all your secrets now, but you
Can't
want
do that.
to,
Can't
yeah,
do that.
don't tell all your secrets now. But if you want to, just touch a little bit. And the reason why I want you to do that is because just to give people a little more insight on like the reality of the situation. I feel like sometimes people live in the clouds and they just think like, oh yeah, I'm this, that, and the other. So, I can be the next Viola and the next Denzel, just by taking some great headshots. Like there's a lot more to this business than that. So I think it'd be great if you just shared a little bit of your story and your process to getting where you're at.
So I don't believe that things happen by happenstance. I think that everything requires a plan. Even the Bible says, write the vision and make it plain so that you can go after it, right? Surmising that scripture. And so, I mean, if you understand that everything doesn't happen by happenstance, and you are doing the work and you are putting forth the effort to make sure that your goal, your vision, your dreams are to be realized to the absolute best of your ability, then you got to have a plan, and you've got to pursue that thing every day. And so specifically for me, when that opportunity came for me to be the stand-in for Keith David, that was the best opportunity that I felt I had at that point in time to use that as a platform, as a means by which to make it to that next level, right? And so, I need to put my glasses back on. So what I did was I absolutely positively understood that by being a stand-in and having free reign of the set, that learning from each and every one of these individuals. I'm sorry, my daughter was just talking to me and she threw me off. But understanding that where it is that you're trying to go and using what you have available to you can catapult you to where it is that you're trying to go. But it's not going to happen by happenstance. So, and I'll give a quick example. I'll make this short. But so when I became a stand-in, the same held true for the mindset of the other stand-ins. When I came into that space, inquiring as to, okay, what do we do here? They were like, oh, they'll tell you what to do, da, da, da. Same lackadaisical approach to that opportunity. Well, The very first thing that I identified was when they called us to set to do marking rehearsal. I noticed that we did the first, when we're going through our marks, I'm thinking we're going to do a rehearsal, you know, and we didn't. All we did was, okay, let me see you on mark 1, let me see you on mark 2, let me see you on mark 3. So I'm like, okay, so when are we gonna do a rehearsal? Because they gave me the script, they gave me the sides. I learned them. No one told me what we were gonna do, and I didn't want to be embarrassed. So I learned my lines. And so I've taken the time, and I only had 20 minutes to do it. But I learned the lines on a 2-page scene and in 20 minutes time. And I was waiting for that time to come. And it never came. And I'm like, so aren't we going to do a rehearsal? And they were like, no, we don't necessarily do rehearsals because people don't take the time to learn the scripts. And if you've ever done stand-in work, you understand that I found this to be very uncommon on most sets, is that they don't do actual second team rehearsals. And so I said, okay, here's an opportunity because I'm looking at Video Village. The director's there, the DP is there. Sometimes the producers are there. Sometimes the executive producers are there as well. So I made it my mission to get us to a point where we do second team rehearsals. And so because I brought it up, the director overheard me on that day and she was like, you know what, let's do a second team rehearsal. Everybody pull your scripts out. So everybody pulled their scripts out and we started doing the rehearsal. Oh no, everybody pulled their scripts out and the director said, where's your script? And I said, it's in my pocket. And she said, well, pull it out, because if we're going to do it, we need to get going. Come on, time is money, time is money. I said, no, I learned it. And she said, well, you learned that in 20 minutes? You learned it? I was like, yeah. She, okay. She said, this should be interesting. And she said, but don't waste our time because we need to see all the actions. This is not, just for your purposes. We need to see all the movement. We need to see all that. So I'm like, all right, cool. I got it. So we did the whole rehearsal and it worked out. She came back over and she said, I can't believe you learned all that in 20 minutes. And she gave me a pat on the back, right? And when she walked away, I saw her high five this guy on her way out. I didn't know who he was. And it turned out to be, after she high fived him, he looked at me and he just kind of gave me a nod, like, and he turned and walked away. It turned out that was one of the 3 executive producers of the show.
Look at that.
And at the end of the second scene of the day, they made the decision to make me Keith's full-time stand-in as a result of taking advantage of an opportunity and understanding that things don't happen by happenstance. You've got to create your opportunities whenever they're presented to you. And I remained Keith stand-in on that show for 3 seasons because I learned so much from him and Lynn Whitfield and Lamont Rucker and all these individuals that I worked with every day. Before it was all said and done, I stood in for every man on the show, regardless of height, complexion. I stood in for Lamont, who's 6'5", I'm 6 feet. I stood in for Rick Fox, who's 6'8" and light skinned.
Yeah.
But I did that because the DP, I knew I took the time to learn what it really means to be a stand-in and pressured all the other stand-ins to learn their lines. So this goes back to any and everyone who does background. I encourage you, when given an opportunity to be a stand-in, take it. Because where else are you gonna go and seize an opportunity to get seen? People want to be discovered. What better opportunity do you have than to be a stand-in on a show, especially a show where they're giving you opportunities to do a full second team rehearsal. Because in a full second team rehearsal, you're performing the lines, you're performing the actions, and you are being watched by everyone sitting in Video Village. And so where else can you be discovered than on a set as a stand-in, doing full second team rehearsals and being viewed by these individuals? I landed an actual role on the show as a result of the work that we did doing stand-in work. And the question that I have for the other stand-ins, again, I'm older, most of the other stand-ins are younger, and they just didn't see it that way. And so what the DP told me, because again, and I'm sorry for making this a long story, but it's a very major part, I believe, of what helped me to get to this point, right? I credit my stand-in work to being where I am now as it relates to the opportunities that I'm getting now. So I asked the DP, I know we didn't always do a full second team rehearsal. I'm like, well, why can't we always do a full second team rehearsal? And he said this. He said, the reason why we don't always do full second team rehearsals is because not everybody learns their lines. And as the DP, the second team rehearsals are for the DP so that he can see to make sure that the lighting is right, and the camera operators, they need to see the movement so that they can make their adjustments in the taping of the scene. But when he said that the reason why we can't do full second team rehearsals is because people are not learning their lines and they're having to read their scripts. Well, as a result of that, here's the problem. When you're reading your script, what are you doing?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So the DP can't do his job because he can't see lighting on your face as we move through the scene. And so light went off, boom, okay. So I said, all right, so if we learn our lines, you'll let us do full second team rehearsals? He said it would be to our advantage to do full second team rehearsals, but we don't have time to waste, and I don't want to look at the top of your head. It doesn't serve me. So I said, okay, so if I can get stand-ins to learn their lines, we can do full. He said, yes. I went back into the room where all the stand-ins were immediately after that. And I said, why are you here? What is it that you want to do? Do you want to be an actor? Went around the room. Yes, 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 yes. Do you take classes? Yes. Do you take classes? Yes. Do you take classes? Yes. I'm sure you're spending a pretty exorbitant amount of money for classes, right? This is the greatest classroom you'll ever sit in. Your class in a workshop or a acting school, you're not going to have all these lights. You're not going to have a DP standing there. You're not going to have a executive producer or a director. All these people who can employ you are not going to be in that class for the most part. So here's our opportunity. You want to get discovered? This is your best opportunity to do so. So from now on, when we come in the morning, I just took the lead. I just made myself the stand-in supervisor.
No, that's right.
Every morning when we come in, we're going to go over our scripts together. We're going to read through them, and we're going to prepare ourselves to have good, solid second team rehearsals, right? Because we're all trying to get to the same place. You all just committed to wanting to be an actor, wanting to be discovered, etc. This is where it happens, right? And so every morning we learned our lines, and the more we did it, the better we got at it. And they used to laugh at us because we went from being horrible to actually being good. And they used to call it second team theater. They would either they would laugh at us or they would applaud us, right? Depending on how well we did in that particular scene. they laughed about it, and some of them didn't fully understand it. Some did. It's interesting that the ones that got it and understood what I was saying are the ones that are out there working today. Shout out to Michelle Lamb. She was one of them. And Michelle is as busy as I am. And there are several others that took it seriously as well. Those who didn't, I don't really know what they're doing. I think they might still be doing some stand-in work.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I just say that to say that seize every moment and every opportunity that you get to take your career to the next level. And it may come in some very unorthodox ways, but not everybody's path is not going to be my path. But this is just one of the things that I credit with the success that I'm having, is because I and the rest of the team, we were getting on set, on camera, not to television, but on camera experience. And I took it so that I even cursed out a camera operator one time because he felt like it was a waste of time, right? And I overheard him. We were at lunch. I overheard him talking to someone else, and he was like, "I'm sick and tired of doing all these second team rehearsals." Da 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 da. And I went over to him and I respectfully said, "Hey, Andy, how long have you been a camera operator?" 20 something, almost 30 years. I was like, okay, so you're very experienced at what you do and you've been doing it for a very long time. But when you first started, opportunities were given to you to learn your trade. Am I correct? And he said, yeah. I said, okay, well, that's what this is for us. So sit on your camera, mind your business, and let us do what we need to do so that we can get to the next level, just like you did. So you got to stand up for what it is that you're trying to do. And any obstacles that get in your way, you got to speak directly to it. If it's an individual standing in your way, and you ain't got to be nasty about it. And I wasn't nasty, but I checked him and he understood it because I helped him to understand that we all start somewhere. Mm-hmm. So don't let your 30 years of experience get in my way. Yeah. And so Andy and I are friends to this day. Whenever I see him on another set, we're like, hey man, what's up? Da, 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 da. Glad to see everything is going well. Yeah. But had we not had that conversation, understanding that he could very easily have been complaining to the DP, and he might have gotten the DP's attention to the point where, okay, well, I don't want to upset my camera operator, so we're not going to do it. We're not going to do rehearsals anymore. Those rehearsals led to an opportunity on the actual show. My very first booking in television, period, was SAG on Greenleaf, and I earned my SAG card as a result of it.
Look at that.
If you've ever trained with me, what's that?
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, it's very interesting. I don't get a chance to say this much. If anyone's ever trained with me, and Shanette, you've heard me say that your first fan base is always the crew. Always, like really, it's your agent, it's your manager, it's a casting director. But when you're on set, and this is actually different than set etiquette, because set etiquette, the other people did set etiquette, but it's how do you be memorable throughout that? How do you stand out? And how do you create that fan base?
That's right.
Because you work, like that's part of networking. I've told anybody I've ever trained, when you're on those sets, be about your business.
That's right.
Don't talk to other actors, really be about what it is, because you're being watched.
That's
and
right.
Once you do something that's out of the ordinary, the eyes are going to be on you, whether it's good or bad.
That's
right.
It's
better to be good. And we rarely hear people coming up from the dirt for real. Like being an extra is coming from the dirt. I don't give a damn what anybody says.
That's right.
And you step up like that. It's given other actors a something to believe in outside of just trying to act with Denzel.
That's right.
And I've been in the business for a lot of years, well over 20, 30, something like that. I've never done a stand-in. I tried to be one for Wesley Snipes. They was like, they said we were same complexion and everything, but I was too short, just a couple of inches. So testament to you that that's one of the criteria for anybody who's listening. One of the criteria is you have to match skin, you have to match height, so that the DP and everybody can set their cameras.
That's
But
right.
the fact that you were able to do this without those requirements is letting me know that it was your professionalism that they needed, and they can work around anything else.
That's right.
But when you're professional, and I think that young people in this business don't understand what being a professional is, even old people. So I'm glad that you kind of hit on that, because if you're a professional, you're going to work in some aspect. They'll hire you somewhere just because they like that you're prepared. You make their jobs easier. There, you think you worked the 12-hour days. Theirs was 16.
Right.
They dealing with this shit way before you got to set.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that was the that was the thing that the DP always said. He was like, listen, there were even times where, because I was Keith Davis full-time stand-in, but so whenever he was in the scene with Lamont, if Lamont wasn't, they weren't in the same scene together, then I stood in for both of them, right? But yeah, they'd throw me on an apple box, and you know, and we made it work. Rick Fox is light skinned, but what he said was, he was like, I know you're not the right complexion. He said, we can adjust that. We're kind of used to Rick, so we kind of know what his lighting is. But the difference is, you know what we need. And again, being serious about your craft. I don't care, background, stand in, whatever it is, understanding the business of it and what the others need. I understood clearly what the DP needed. I understood clearly what the camera operators needed, and I gave it to them before they asked for it. Those create opportunities for you. And again, you got to stand up for yourself, because I also noticed at that time was that oftentimes the DP, who is first and foremost, I mean, that's the big guy. So whatever he's in need of, everybody else has to wait. And I understood that. But when you're doing it, you got the DP talking, you got the camera operator who needs what they need, you got lighting, want you to look over here, camera operator is saying, look over here, DP is hollering from Video Village, Greg, do this, that, or the other. And I found myself like this, right?
Yeah.
And one day I was like, hold up, wait a minute, shut it down. This is too much. Everybody's wanting me to do all these different things at one point in time, and it just makes me look stupid, because I'm trying to appease everybody at the same time. I say, so from now on, I know what you need. Andy, I know what you need. Mike, I know what you need, but I can only do one thing at a time. So DP, Mike, Jim, what is it that you need? Do this, that, or the other. Okay, cool. You good? Yes. All right. Andy, what do you need? Do this. All right, cool, great. I got it straight. Mike, what do you need? Lights. What do you need? And from that day forward, I mean, you know, you got to take control. Otherwise, they'll have you, you know, and then when it's all said and done, you haven't earned their respect, and they're only going to do it again and again and again and again and again. But when you set a standard, like, that's why I'm so glad. And not everybody, like I said, everybody's path is not going to be my path. But I come from the professional side of things. I come from the corporate side of things. And if you don't speak up and help people to understand that there's a process to this thing, and I'm not going to let you just pull me in all these different directions, because it benefits me none. And as the DP, as the producer, you're sitting out in Video Village and you're constantly hearing, Greg, I need your Greg. They're thinking it's you. You're the one that's not doing what you're supposed to be doing. But the reality is, everybody's pulling you in all these different directions, and they lose respect for you without even understanding what's going on. They just hear your name being yelled. Greg, look this way. Greg, look, get on that mark, not that mark, that mark. Well, I'm on this mark because Mike needed me on this mark. Deep, and so I say all that to say, man, speak up, understand what's needed, give everybody what they need, but you take control of the situation. I know that's hard because these are the deep, not everybody might be skilled to do that. So, but just understand who you are and do what you need to do. But I earned their respect. And from that day forward, when we got on set, if they get my attention, Greg, let me know when you finish with that, because I need you. All right, cool, I got you. You're next. Or I got you after Mike. Mike has already asked me, so as soon as I give him what he needs, I'll give you what you need. And so then it becomes just respect from one person to another. Otherwise, if you don't demand it, they're not going to give it to you, and they're not going to become a fan of yours. They'll become a fan if you shut it down and help them to understand that, man, I'm not some doggone little, play toy that you can just pull around and talk to any kind of way. I may have gotten off subject with that, but I think that's a very important thing for everybody to know and understand, is that you have to take control and understand your end game, and just demand that type of respect while you're on set. Because if you don't demand it, they'll continue to treat you any kind of way. And at the end of the day, you're tired, you're embarrassed, you've been talked to any kind of way, you're frustrated, and it benefited you none. Mm-hmm. But if you can call things into order, you earn their respect, and they become a fan. They want to see you win. They believe that you can win because of the course of action that you took, the level of professionalism in which you operate within, and they want to see you win after that. But otherwise, you're just a stand-in until you insist that you're more than just a stand-in or a background artist or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, always important to stand up for yourself. And thank you for sharing all those stories. That's one of the reasons why I really wanted you on the show, because you have such a great background and so much to add. So when people are, watching this, they're gonna learn a lot from, from you and your story. So thank you for sharing all that.
Well, good. I want to be of assistance in any way that I can. So I love sharing my experience in this business, and there's still so much more for me to learn. I mean, obviously, it's level to level to level, and so I'm still learning and listening to others' stories. But for those that are coming behind me, I hope that my stories will help them to become actors with endurance, because if you don't have the endurance to withstand the challenges that come with this business, you won't survive.
Say that again. Now I want to pivot a little bit into this new wave of technology that we've been experiencing with AI coming into play. Where do you feel like the business is going to go, and how do you feel like it's going to affect you personally as an actor?
I feel strongly that it is indeed going to have a major impact on our industry. It's already having a major impact on our industry. I think writers are going to feel it the most. They're already feeling it. And I pray that, they're able to, fight this thing off, because it's going to be a real problem. As actors, I think we just have to be very mindful of it. I think that we have to do a great job of continuing to bring about the humanistic side of what we do. And now I'm kind of moving beyond that from AI into the whole robotic thing. But as actors, I think that it's important that if it results in more and more films being written by AI, it's gonna lack the human touch. And so that scene study is going to become even more of a challenge for actors, because you now have to really insert the human side of this style of writing.
Yeah, I never thought about that. I
Yeah.
never thought about that part. And then have you seen, I know Marlon, in my opinion, I think he's an expert at script analysis, but now they have technology that breaks down the scripts for you as well.
Oh,
So
really? I haven't seen that.
yeah, they have AI technology that does script analysis. So it'll break down the script. So it'll write it for you, it'll break down the script for you. But like you said, it's still you still have to be able to bring that human side to.
Right.
So yeah, I didn't think about that part of it.
Yeah.
That's the first time.
AI scares me. I mean, obviously, it's here. There's nothing we can do about it. So we have to navigate our way around it to the absolute best of our ability. Uh, Learn it.
Yes.
Don't run from it. Embrace it, because it's here. And so, but at the same time, as an artist, we have to look out for each other and fight for one another. And so, um, me personally, who I have aspirations of becoming a filmmaker and producing and creating projects, but I don't necessarily want to rely or even look to AI to be the writer of those projects. Um, I know exactly what I want to accomplish, and everything that I want to accomplish as it relates to what we present to our audience has a heart. Therefore, it has to come from the mind of an individual with a heart who pumps blood and wants to see positive things, uh, things that will help people to grow. And and I'm just not so sure if AI can fully give you that. Obviously, you can have it write it and then insert and make changes and so on and so forth. But that's a job that's lost.
Mhm.
And so I care about the writers. I hope the writers care, equally about us. So we all got to look out for one another and keep this thing at bay to the absolute best of our ability. Use it where it has its strengths. I think it has a place, but I just think it has to be a combination of that and the human touch and us fighting for one another to ensure that it does not completely take over. Yeah.
I agree 100%. But part of, so we do have to, as actors, we do have to watch out for Sora. Sora is on our heels.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sora is not playing, but I do. This is why I've even written an acting book that breaks down. I give about 80 over 80 techniques to keep actors grounded in the script. And I'm going to segue into so earlier you spoke about a plan, and since we're talking about AI, you're actually more of a character actor because I see you play your doctors, your lawyers, and you play a detective that I've seen so far. Um, was that part of your plan, and how important was that to lay a foundation for the work that you're getting now?
I think it's real important understanding who you are just in general. Who am I? Who do I best represent? Uh, and I'm a corporate executive, entrepreneur. These are the phases of my life that I live leading up to becoming an actor. And so, understanding I'm a professional, so yeah, I think I best and easily can represent that of a CEO, that of a executive, of a business owner. I can play the rich guy. I can play the the middle class guy very well. I mean, so I can play the doctor. I can play the lawyer. These are things that I feel comes naturally to me. So the old saying, pick the low hanging fruit. You know, we can aspire to, you know, play all of these different roles and characters and so on and so forth. But when you're just starting out, understanding what comes naturally for you, that's your low-hanging fruit. And so I talked about positioning. Position yourself for those opportunities that come naturally for you. And I think that opens doors faster to get the work, because it's all about the work. Work begets work. And so that's just, I have a list of roles and characters that I feel like I play well, that comes naturally to me. And so I literally have a list of those things, some of which I just mentioned, and I've played them. So now my reel, which has to be updated because it's old, but I mean, so I played the doctor, I played the lawyer, I played the CEO, I played the rich real estate developer, I played the father, I played the grandfather, I played the detective, as you see background in the my most recent movie. I played the detective. I've played you know, all the things that I feel suits my brand as an actor. I now have reels to support that. And so when you're partnering with an agent, now you've given them the tools, and you know, now they see what you see, and they have the tools to market you to casting directors. You know, he does the doctor well. Here, let me show you this scene that he did from this project as a doctor. You know, he does the lawyer very well too. Let me show you this scene. So I mean, you're just giving them the tools that they need to do their jobs. And because it comes naturally, it's something that you can really, you know, bring to life, because that's just a part of who you are naturally. And then as you continue to grow as an actor and develop your craft, then you can move into the more challenging things which you don't identify with. And so that's where I am now. I'm at the place now where I want to take on more roles that are very different from what comes naturally to me. I'm about to audition now for a project where you know, I'm potentially the murderer. You know, I'm the killer. You know, that's not something that comes naturally for me. I'm from Detroit, but you know, I got some low key thug in me, but I haven't had a chance to play that role yet. You know. So I'm excited about that opportunity. So now I'm looking for opportunities that will stretch me.
Yeah.
But the work that I've been able to get came as a result of things that I'm comfortable with, things that I know is a part of my brand. And as I stated, I saw that as the low-hanging fruit. Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. I normally get the murderers. Like I've been trying to play a good guy for a long time. I rarely get the good guy role. I always get the dark skin roles, and y'all know what I'm talking about.
Arlene.
And we're gonna have to have you back on. To be honest with you, we're gonna have to get into our martini round. We haven't even asked you half the questions, so we're gonna have you come back. No, what you've discussed today. We've been interviewing for what, 2 or 3 years. We haven't had an interview quite like this that had this kind of information. Because you're doing different work than the actors and the talent that we've been getting in here. And I'll tell you that what you said about the background, not even background, but the stand-in, because that's rare. I mean, you got to fit a lot of criteria, first of all. Second of all, one criteria you got to have is the budget. It ain't too many places, not too many features out here. Well, depending on the budget, you may not get a stand-in. You may not even get an opportunity for those roles because they still got to pay you scale every day.
Right.
That's a paid role. So
Right.
um,
Right.
for people who don't get that opportunity, it's not only is it rare, but understanding what to do with it. I'm pretty sure if somebody who's doing this kind of work sees you on this, I bet you they'll change the way that they approach this work. and not just looking
Absolutely.
at I'm just being lit, but no, this is my job.
Absolutely.
And the fact that you made it beyond that, I
Right.
think Marilyn Monroe is like the only famous extra who actually made a name for herself. So Marilyn Monroe is probably, well, she's the only actress that I've ever heard of that started off in background and actually became something much larger than life. So it's almost like it's a pipe dream for a lot of people, but I'm pretty sure that there's more background success stories than with what we're hearing. So I'm glad that we got a chance to really hear one, because again, if your background, you have come up from the mud,
Yeah.
and not even necessarily having training, like you did on the job training, you can't get any better than that. But I think that it's very interesting, your route, because routes for actors are, even, between Jeanette and I, our paths are totally different and how we
Right.
came about. So I like the idea of pulling the veil down, even on techniques, because it's like, oh, all of these acting secrets, what the hell for?
Right.
We're not in the day and age to be keeping those secrets. So
Right.
I'm glad that you were very transparent. I mean, think about this too. A lot of people, okay, I was arrogant in my whole acting thing. I came out of school and I was like, I'm not going to be known for doing no damn extra work. And that's how I was. And I would wear hats. I would wear hats with logos. I would wear logos. And I knew I wasn't going to get in the shot. I knew it. That's how I
Right.
got extra, that's how I got my extra days. I wear the
That's
logos.
That's how you got your pay rent where you got your rent paid without actually being on there.
Yep. I don't think there's, except for one fine day, I don't think you'll ever see me in a shot. Not one.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. And actually, I'll tell you what, when we get you back on, I want to go through some of those extra stories. We will have a longer, because it's such a unique part of this
It
business.
is. It
You
is.
know, you have a whole like Central Casting Agency is a whole casting agency totally dedicated to extra work. And I'm mentioning this again because I don't think extras realize, like, if you mess up, you mess the shot up.
Right.
Like you really have to look like you belong there, or you
Listen.
gonna mess this shot up. So I'm so
Listen.
I don't know how many more people that we're gonna get with your path, but I am very happy that we spoke to you about this.
Man, listen, it's been a real pleasure to have this conversation with you guys. I just, any opportunity I get to share and to help somebody, because when I came into it, like I said, my first day on the set, I'm asking, what do we do? And everybody's, oh, just sit down and be patient. They'll tell you what to do, da, da, da. Nobody was willing to help. And I just think that as actors, we need to support each other and help each other. I mean, we all grow that way, because I'm full of questions. I'm a sponge. And and I'll talk to whoever I need to talk to in order to learn what I need to learn to help me get where it is that I'm trying to get. And so yeah, so I'm open to that. But to your point, real quick, the with the background, understanding what it is that you're doing. And again, this comes from effective communication. But I can't tell you how many times I've seen movies where uh uh, and I laugh every time when it's a serious scene. You got somebody that just died, and you got the lead actors crying, and you got background. You got a big, or you're in a scene where you've got all this commotion and big arguments going on, and you've got two actors in the background laughing and talking at each other and not paying any attention to all this noise and distraction going in the background, not even reacting to it, because you know they just don't even haven't taken the time to realize that you are playing a part in this project. And so, you're more than just somebody standing in the background. You got to tie in and dial in to what's going on around you, because there's nothing funnier than you got all this commotion going on, and these two are holding a conversation like there's nothing going on, nothing happening.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, hilarious. I laugh at those all the time. Shout out to Tubi.
Oh yeah. Oh my goodness. Oh my God. Well, Greg, Let me ask you, right? You've been in a plethora of Lifetime movies,
Yeah.
and I love it. Like you have done an amazing job. Can you tell us what was your favorite project to work on? Like out of all the Lifetime films that you've been on, what was your favorite one?
My favorite one came out my favorite one came out June of last year. It's called The Perfect In-Laws.
Yes.
And it's a great movie. It's on Lifetime on demand. I encourage anyone watching to go and check it out. It's a suspense and it has a lot of twists and turns in it. But I married into a very wealthy family with a lot of dark secrets and very dysfunctional, and uh, thoroughly enjoyed it. It's a really good movie. But speaking of work begets work, so I had a movie prior to that that I did called uh
The Nightmare School Moms or
no, the one before that, which was
Kept
oh
Mistress Killer?
God. Huh?
Kept Mistress Killer. Uh,
Yes, Kept Mistress Killer. I auditioned for the role of a lawyer. That was the first time I did the lawyer, and the producers, when they saw my audition, they didn't think that they didn't think that I could pull it off, right? But I had worked with the director before, and I've worked with that producer before, and they were like, "Trust me, he can pull it off," right? So this particular executive producer, he was the only one who thought he just didn't think that I could pull it off. Well, I pulled it off. So much so that he had this other project coming down the pipe. He reached out to me directly and wanted me to be a part of this project. No audition necessary. He was so impressed with what I did as a lawyer that he wanted me to play this part. Now, this part wasn't written for an African American. It was written for a Caucasian. This whole family is Caucasian, and but he thought enough of what I did with that role that he went against everything and chose me to play this particular character, which it wasn't even written for a person of color. And so I say that to just simply say, man, work begets work. And but yeah, that ended up being my favorite one. And actually, it turned out to be one of the highest viewed shows on Lifetime that year. But yeah, The
Wow.
Perfect In-Laws, a great movie. Really, really, really good movie.
Look at that.
Yeah,
Look at
yeah.
Yeah, I love that. That's why I say you've been doing an amazing job, and I'm super proud of you. Because
Thank you.
when we met, you were on the rise. I always say you took off like a freight train, a little chugging along, but it's hard to stop that train when it's in motion, and you're in motion. So
Well, I appreciate that. And shout out to you because I don't know if you really know this. I think I might have shared this with you, but you and I met working together on the show in Knoxville, Tennessee, right? That was the first time we ever encountered one another.
yes,
And on my way to Tennessee, I got a C-mail for an audition request. And you know how we do. You got to be ready at all times to do an audition. I don't care where you are. So I had my tripod, I had all my stuff in the car, and but I did not have a reader. And while we were on set, remember, I asked if
yes.
you could help me with an audition. And at midnight, actors understand that you got to do what you got to do. I don't care where you are, you got to make it happen. And so at midnight, after we got off set, we I had to find a place in the hotel. Remember that?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
went downstairs to the hotel lobby and talked to the person at the desk. I'm like, listen, I need a room that has a nice wall.
yep.
And he was like, well, we got a conference room, but it's set up for an event tomorrow morning. I said, sir, I promise you, we will not disturb the room. But I got to have a room that has good lighting and a nice wall. And so he took me into a room that was perfect. You read for me for that audition. That was my very first Lifetime audition. And you were the reader for that.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
You were my reader for that.
Oh, wow.
And before I left Tennessee the next day, I got the call saying that I booked it.
Yeah.
And the rest is history. So, you know.
Yeah, and I'll never forget that day because I had just got there that day. So I drove from Atlanta to Knoxville. I got there, went straight on set. We filmed. Me and you talked. You asked me, and I love this stuff. So I was like, oh, now mind you, I was tired. Part of me wanted to say no, but I said, you know what? I'm just gonna do it anyway because I love it, and I was like, I would want him to do that for me, help me out, and especially last minute. So hey, we knocked it out. We did a great job. I mean, you had your all set up and everything, and yeah, we were up late, but we're both night people anyway, so both night owls. Yeah, but that was great.
But that's a perfect example of actors helping actors.
Yes.
And we need each other.
Mm-hmm.
We absolutely need each other to strengthen one another, to cry on another actor's shoulder if need be, to encourage, inspire, to motivate, share our stories, because that's how we grow. And so shout out to you. Thank you, because this freight train you speak of, yeah, you were there to help me get on that train. And now, and as actors, it's our responsibility to turn around and, help those who are coming behind us trying to achieve the same things. And so I'm a huge supporter of that. And so that's anytime y'all want to talk about this stuff, I'm open and ready.
I love it. I love it. Well, Greg, go ahead and tell the people, where can they find you? Where can they support you? And also, do you have any upcoming projects that you want to share with the people?
Sure. Actually, I'm on all social media. My stage name is Gregory, middle initial M, last name Mitchell. So you'll find me as Gregory M. Mitchell on all social media. Projects behind me is the artwork for a project that just aired on Lifetime this past Thursday night, 2 days ago, 3 days ago, whatever it is. That particular one is called Who's Stalking My Family? I play the role of a detective. As you can see my badge right there. But, and this is called marketing, y'all.
Yes.
But so that just came out. Definitely check out The Perfect In-Laws. I think you'd really like that project. I played a lead in another project called The Bad Nanny on Lifetime. But I've done so many Lifetime movies. But what I really want to encourage you to go watch is, and this was a real blessing, I did a movie called A Costa Rican Wedding, which was a Hallmark original, and it's already out. But when I booked that through one of the casting directors that I booked several other Lifetime projects through. And relationships are everything. Like I said, when you start to establish relationships, then you stay top of mind with those individuals, and they look for opportunities for you. But anyway, he called me about this. I didn't even see it. I didn't even see the post, but he reached out to me and said, man, listen, there's an opportunity I want you to read for. And I did. I booked it. It's called A Costa Rican Wedding. Spent 3 weeks in paradise. We filmed the whole thing in Costa Rica. The accommodations were incredible. Every animal that you see in the film, every spider, every snake, all of that was real. But yeah, so it's called A Costa Rican Wedding. It's a Costa Rican wedding. It's a rom-com adventure. Had an amazing time shooting it, and yeah, 3 Weeks in Paradise on somebody else's dime.
Look at
Can't
that.
beat that.
I'm telling you, you got paid to do it.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Paid
That's
well to do it. Yeah.
that part right there. That part. But yeah, so but yeah, those things. And then I've got a couple more movies in the can. I don't know how soon they'll come out. I think it'll be a little while before they come out. But yeah, just auditioning and trying to make it do what it do.
Yeah.
And all this work comes out of Atlanta?
Not all of, well, most of it, yes. Most of it. That's the
Nice.
upside to what's happening here with all this production.
Mhm.
But yeah, most of it has been happening right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I do want to point out, I mean, he's done a lot of work and he's done most of this work without an agent. I just got to say that, Greg.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
had to let that be known because that's why I was so impressed. But that's where the marketing, the business side, you're very intentional about what you're doing. So, guys, if you're watching this, guys, girls, if you're watching this, take note. Take note. There's,
Yeah.
got to be
Yeah.
intentional. So, yeah, I
Got to be
applaud.
very intentional and know what your end game is, and grab that bull by his horn and just go. And so for me, what was really important is working as much as possible so that I can have a reel that shows what I'm capable of doing versus me saying, oh yeah, I can do this, I can do that. Yeah, you got to have that demo reel, that demonstration of what it is that you're capable of doing. So, if you got to work for free to get your reel right, and do that. If you don't necessarily have the skills, but you're trying to get into it, you got to be willing to work for free. And if you're not ready to start acting yet, but you want to work toward that, find somebody who's making an independent film and ask if you can be a stand-in. I'm not going to charge you anything, but in exchange, I need to do full, second team rehearsals, or I'll get somebody else to come and stand in with me for the other characters. We'll learn our lines and just let us do second team rehearsals so that we can develop our craft. And then when we're ready, your next project, maybe you can consider us for a role in your next project. But it's all positioning. It's all capitalizing on opportunities that exist and create opportunities where they don't exist.
Mm, very well said. Marlon, you have anything before we go into the martini round?
Nope.
All right, Greg. So we're gonna go into the martini round. It's just a series of questions, just to get to know you a little bit better. All
Okay.
right. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. First question, cats or dogs?
Dogs.
My man. What is your favorite smell?
Ooh. I'm a cologne guy, so I love things that smell good, right? Um, I mean, when I say I love things that smell good, if it's not a fragrance, food,
Yeah.
but I mean, if you want me to be specific about a fragrance, I mean, I'm a cologne fanatic, so I've got
Give me your top three, I guess. Maybe
my
like
top 3 colognes.
you got a top
Uh,
three.
oh man, right now my favorite is uh, um, I've got so many I forget the name of them half the time. One of my staples is Chanel Blue. It's been around for a long time, but that's one of my staples. I keep that
Okay.
in my inventory. But what I'm really loving right now is called Rain Denuit.
Okay.
It's kind of hard to find, but it's really, 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 really good. Rain Denuit. And my next one would be probably, I have a Cartier fragrance called, I can't think of the doggone name of it right now.
all right. Give us a
But
number.
yeah. I just listen. I got so much of it. I just grab a bottle of spray and leave the house.
There you go.
You-
Okay.
I thought Creed would have been up there.
Creed, yeah, I love Creed as well. Creed is the silver it's called silver something. But yeah, that's the white bottle. Yeah, I
Yeah.
do. I love Creed as well. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now let me ask you, what is a song that always gets you hyped up? Like what's that one song that anytime you hear it, you're ready to go?
That's crazy.
Because I'm sure you have like a list, especially when you like preparing for auditions or
I
you get ready
I
to go
I
live.
I did so actually I do that through gospel music,
Okay.
right? And Marvin Sapp is my favorite artist.
Okay.
And so I listen to most of his stuff and I love all of it. But the best in me,
Mm.
so that's kind of what I play in my head when I'm preparing, is
Hmm.
because I want to believe that he saw the best in me.
I love
And so that just prepares me. So I don't really listen to a whole lot of hype when I'm going. I listen to things that are just encouraging me and inspiring me on the inside, and that just kind of brings everything out of me. But yeah, so I'm more reserved and laid back, and so that stuff, it feeds me. I need something that feeds me, doesn't hype me, but feeds me.
Okay, okay. And
Yeah.
that's the thing, what like I like slow music too. Sometimes that gets me all hyped up. It just depends on the
Right,
mood.
exactly.
It just depends on the mood. Yeah.
Exactly.
Now,
Exactly.
what is your favorite season? Summer, winter,
Fall.
fall. Okay.
Yeah. Fall is my favorite season. I'm from Detroit. I'm from Michigan. We love to put it on. Like we love to dress. And
Hmm.
so yeah, fall gives me the opportunity to put layers on.
Yeah.
And yeah, you know,
Okay.
winter you got to put on a big coat and cover all that up. But we make that work too. But fall, put a nice cardigan on. Yeah, yeah.
Relax. Okay.
Fall and early spring.
Really. Oh, okay. Kind of
Yeah,
like.
yeah.
Okay. And last question: what is an ice cream flavor that describes you? So
Mm.
yeah, I'm crazy vanilla. And Marlon, what is yours?
uh, I, I, I
Rock.
don't know, probably something with a lot of nuts in it, like nutty,
Did you
like
say
cuckoo
Rocky
nutty.
Road? Did you say Rocky Road? Was it?
Rocky Road was a description of my career being rocky.
Oh,
So that I don't know. Yeah,
yeah.
I gotta find the flavor because I love being butter pecan, but I don't think my career has been butter pecan right now. So
Right. Um, one of my one of my favorites right now is one that's it's kind of hard to find, but it's called um oh, see, I'm always forgetting the names of things. That's crazy. I don't really keep up with the names of it, but it's by Bluebell,
Okay.
and it's called something cone.
I about to say you could describe it. Is that that's the ice cream flavor that describes you though?
No, that's just the favorite ice cream that I like to
Uh-huh,
eat.
uh-huh. I'm like,
Uh,
what?
so
Yeah, what
I would say chocolate chip.
chocolate? Oh,
I
okay.
would say chocolate chip, and I'll tell you there's a backstory to that.
Yeah.
So I'm of the darker hue, and
Mhm.
as a kid growing up, I didn't feel very comfortable in my skin because the people in my life at that time, outside of my family, um, made you feel lesser than because you were of darker skin, right? And but I have a cousin, shout out to Marie Kaysen, who's passed on. But she would always, and she was very intentional about this, she would always say, look at my handsome, dark-skinned cousin. And she would always just speak very positive things into me. It was almost like she knew that, you know, I was a little pent up about, you know, my darkness, right? But she would always say, you are beautiful, you are handsome. She would always feed me. And later on in life, I began to realize that she was very intentional in what she was doing in planting those seeds. And she would often say, that's my little chocolate chip right there.
Oh,
And but yeah, so I would tie that to that. But you know, it wasn't until much later in life that I realized what she was doing.
I love that.
She made me very proud of my skin color. Now it wasn't you know, the fact that I was black. That wasn't it. But I was darker than most in my community, and so yeah, I think she realized that I needed that. And every time she'd see me, she would always have those things to say. And it worked. Yeah, yeah, it worked. I love my skin. I love the skin that I'm in. And it played a big part in what she did. So yeah, shout out to her. She used to call me her little chocolate chip.
Okay, I love
Oh,
that. That
Yeah.
is
I must be double, and that so now I'm on double chocolate fudge. I'm
yeah.
doubling down.
That's
Oh man, I
sounds
love
good
it.
to
Hey,
me, I tell you.
Yeah.
you
But
back
yeah,
on.
I would say that. I would say that.
I'm so arrogant about my skin. I actually had to slow down. Like I've been arrogant since a child, actually. Like I'm
Really?
very arrogant. Oh yeah. I'm one of the very rare dark skinned people that I was like, yo, y'all crazy if you don't have this. Like I used to be
Right.
out as a child and people would run up back in the shade and I'm like, y'all missing all this outside? You crazy.
Right.
Oh, love my skin, man. So
Man. So by
yeah,
the
we
time, but I joined you by the time I was about 10, 11 years old. Yeah. Yeah. 8, 9, 10, somewhere in there. By that time, I got it. You know, she planted enough seeds to where those seeds took root by the time I was 9, 10, 11. And yeah, like you, I kind of became a little arrogant about it, you know, loved it that much, you know. Yeah.
and we haven't even talked about your parenthood or anything like that. Wow, we really have to bring you back
Yeah.
on. I have a daughter too, so oh wow, wow,
Yeah.
very very interesting. It's wild because I don't see people with your complexion talk about being dark skinned because you're
Mm.
right on the brown paper bag, like you're right there. You're right in the middle of me and Shanette right now. You're right on the brown paper bag. For all of y'all who don't know, we'll bring that up in another show.
I'm close to
And I got these lights on me. I'm in my studio, so I got these lights on me right now, which is making probably got me looking a little lighter than I really am. But yeah.
Oh, you must have made a magazine cover. They lightening us up left and right on the magazine covers. I don't know. Serena look like Jeanette right now.
Right.
All right, let
I'm
me stop.
definitely a white girl, so it's yeah, and they it's
That's
terrible.
funny.
It's
And
terrible.
now, you know, I started graying early. Uh, I was 32 years old when I started graying. I mean, like really graying.
Oh, well.
Hmm.
And so, yeah, so, but because of having gone through that, I've never dyed my hair. I've never tried to change it or color it or anything of that nature. Man, it is what it is. I am who I am, you know. Will I do it for the sake of a role? Absolutely. But it would be temporary. But but yeah, I mean, so you know, I am who I am. Take me or leave me. That's what it is. So um and I'm glad that I reached a point in my life where that's where I am, and I think everybody should get there if you're not there already. Just love who you are, self love.
Yes,
It
and
is what
that's
it is.
yeah, and that's really important in this business too. Know who you are and love who you are. You have
That's
to.
right.
It
That's
just
right.
makes you a better actor, and also it makes you more more likely to stand up for yourself too, because people can't sway you or talk to you any kind of way. You
Right.
stand firm in who you are. Yeah, you have to
Right.
love yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Got to know who you are, because they may say just enough right things to, or wrong things, should I say, to have you doubting yourself and wanting to go out and get surgeries and all that kind of stuff. Man, you better know who you are, or you'll be on the show Botched.
There you go.
Right.
There you go.
trying to appease someone else.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So yeah, very important. You got to love who you are and live in your skin with pride.
Yeah, exactly. And now,
Yeah.
Greg, right before we go, who would you recommend to come on this show? Who would you recommend come on Actors Endurance and share their story with us?
Um. hmm.
You can name one person. I was
I
thinking,
mean, has Michelle Lamb been on this show yet?
no. Mm-mm.
No. I would say Michelle. Um. Um. I think our stories are fairly similar. But she's grinding. She's going hard, and yeah. So I think she would have something to share with your audience. Um. Um. Lamont Rucker, if you've never had him on your show, Lamont is very insightful and always willing to share.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he's a good
Did we
friend.
get Lamar? He's in our area, as far as black people are concerned. He's he's well known enough. He's established enough.
Yes.
We should
Yeah,
definitely reach out to him for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, for
yeah.
sure.
He's a DC dude.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right. So
Okay.
talk about writing it down. We have our list. You ain't gonna be able to really see this, but we do have our list of people that we would do that. And you said Lamar Rucker and who else?
Lamont Rucker, Michelle Lamb, in terms of, actors that are out there still
Mhm.
in the early stages of our careers like me, but really putting in the work, developing her craft, and putting herself in position. I think she'd have a great story to tell. She was a background on Greenleaf and became a stand-in on Greenleaf, and she was one of the people that really jumped on board with the whole stand-in, learning your lines, being prepared for a second team rehearsal. So she was one of the ones that came in and was prepared and ready to take advantage of that opportunity. And now, I mean, her career is blossoming as well. So just to reiterate that story, I think that she'd be a great person to talk to. Um,
Is she Asian?
who, Michelle? No, she's black.
Oh, got the wrong name. How do you spell her last name?
Lamb, Lamb, like a lamb.
Oh, okay. Oh, I'm glad you said that because I would have never found her under that.
Great.
Yeah, yeah. But
Okay.
Yeah, we
Oh
appreciate
yeah, I
your
see.
suggestions. But I think we're gonna go ahead and wrap this thing on up. And Greg, it was a absolute pleasure having you on the show. And thank you so much for not only joining us, but also for sharing all of your knowledge, your background with our audience. And we're definitely gonna have you on again. We look forward to your future projects. And
awesome.
yeah, thank you so much. And y'all, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Actors Endurance, and we up out of here.
Yes, yes, we're up out of here. Make sure that you hit your mark and like, subscribe, and follow all of us. That's Greg Mitchell, and that is Actors Endurance. We love you guys. Thank you very much. We'll see you next week or next show or whenever the hell we show up again.
All right, we're going. Bye.